So today we're going to evaluate limits algebraically. We're going to solve by factoring. The goal here is to cancel all possible terms in order to plug in the value of x. First, we're going to start by factorizing the terms from the top, which is x squared minus 64. I'm going to rewrite it down here. X squared minus 64 is the same as saying x minus 8 times x plus 8. So this is the factorized form of x squared minus 64. Now we're going to rewrite the limit as the limit of x as x approaches negative 8 is x minus 8 times x plus 8 over x plus 8. Now this is the rewritten form of the limit. Now we can go ahead and start canceling terms. In this case, we're going to cancel x plus 8, top and bottom. And now we're going to rewrite the limit, just to keep it organized. So it's going to be equal limit as x approaches negative 8 is x minus 8. So now that we have our limit, we're going to ask ourselves, can we plug in x or do we need more factorization or more steps? In this case, the limit is not necessary to factorize, so we can just go ahead and plug in negative 8 into the x. So it's going to be negative 8 minus 8, which equals to negative 16. And that's the answer to our limit. Now we're going to continue evaluating limits algebraically. For this example, we're going to solve by using conjugates. First of all, we're going to get the conjugate of the top. 6 square root of 6x plus 16 minus 4. Its conjugate, it's going to be, I'm going to write this in green. Conjugate is 6x plus 16, square root of that, plus 4. So now we have the conjugate. The difference of the conjugate is that we have a positive and negative sign. It's the same term, but different sides. Now we're going to multiply top and bottom by the same conjugate. So we're going to multiply this by this. And I'm going to write this. The limit as x approaches 0 is 6x plus 16, square root of that, minus 4 over x. Now I'm going to write the conjugate in green, which is going to be square root of 6x plus 16 plus 4 over 6x plus 16, square root of that, plus 4. So now that we have our conjugate, we're going to multiply it by this limit. So now what we notice here is that we have these terms that are going to multiply kind of like FOIL. And we're going to start doing this. I'm going to do this in purple. So we're going to multiply these two. I'm going to start writing. The limit as x approaches 0. So since we have these two multiplying each other, the square roots are going to cancel. So we're going to be left with 6x plus 16. Now we're going to multiply the square root of 6x plus 16 times 4. Since we have a positive 4, we're going to bring that to the front. And I'm going to do this in pink, which is going to be plus 4, 6x plus 16, square root of that. And now we're multiplying negative 4 by 6x plus 16, square root of that. And since we're bringing the negative 4 to the front of this. And I'm going to do this in orange. It's going to be negative 4 square root of 6x plus 16. And finally, we're multiplying the negative 4 times the positive 4. And positive and negative, it's going to give us a negative sign. So, and 4 times 4 is going to be a negative 16. And I'm going to do this in fuchsia, negative 16. All of this is going to be divided by x times 6x plus 16, square root of that, plus 4. So I'm going to write x times square root of 6x plus 16 plus 4. So now that we have our limit like this, we can start canceling all the terms that look the same. In this case, we can cancel these two and the 16s. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to cancel the 16s, the square roots. And just to keep it organized, I like to rewrite it. So I'm going to go do that. Limit is x approaches 0. I'm left on top with the 6x. And the bottom stays the same, so it's going to be x plus square root of 6x plus 16 plus 4. Now that our limit looks like this, we can notice here that these two x's can be canceled. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel. This is because once we plug in 0 into the x in the bottom, the limit is going to be undefined, and we don't want that. So we're going to cancel the x's, and we're going to rewrite this just to keep it again organized. The limit is x approaches 0. It's going to be 6 over square root of 6 plus 16 plus 4. And now that the limit that we got rid of the x's, we can now plug in the 0. So we're going to have 6 over 6 times 0 plus 16 plus 4. So I'm going to go ahead and write this. So I'm going to write it down here. For this time, we don't need the limit, so we can just, since we're just plugging in the 0, so it's going to be 6 over 6 times 0 plus 16 square root of all of this plus 4. And this is going to be 6. The square root of 6 times 0 plus 16 is 4 plus 4, which is going to be equal to 6 over 8. And if we want decimals, it's going to be 0.75. So this is our final answer if we want it in decimals, or if we want this as a whole. And it could also, it's possible to have 6 over 8. It will depend on how they're asking you. Thank you for watching.